Oh,
Oh,
hey guys. I just arrived just a moment ago before I got to my phone here.
yeah, and I've been here. But hey, guys, it's yours truly once again, Music Clues and Ethan End. Again, we are back once again with another monthly update. Sorry if our voice is a little quieter than usual. My sister's currently sleeping, so we gotta be a little bit quieter, so we don't wake her up.
Yeah, as it's recording, it's during the night here, so you guys know.
Yeah. But anyways, that's not gonna stop us from giving you our monthly update on what me and Ethan have been doing. And March was, I won't lie, probably the quietest month that's gonna be for the three of us. For obviously, see, February was pretty busy for us. March was kind of quiet. April seems to be a little bit more hectic. It looks like.
Yes.
So yeah, but either way, like always, we're here to give you the latest news about. Well, for those who don't know, I'll go down the brief rundown. So usually first we talk about updates and news on the channel, so stuff that we've been working on the channel behind the scenes. We don't have that much news this time, but we do have a couple. And in addition to that, we talk about some reactions to some of the latest gaming news that we heard there weren't that many gaming events as there were in February, but there still was some, so we'll definitely talk about that, as well as one animation event in Nick Upfront that happened. I'll talk about that briefly. And then after that, me and Ethan will both go over what we've individually been up to. Of course, if you know for the last week where I've been in Florida for the last week, so yeah, you obviously know what I've been up to in addition to what I have to talk about here. But Ethan's been here back at our town, just chilling, doing his usual stuff, looking at homework as always. So yeah, but he's got quite a couple things and a couple of big topics. Today we will be talking about Ethan's opinion on Xenosega episode 1 and 2
And possibly 3 for the expressions.
so far, since Ethan hasn't beaten it yet. And then in addition to that, we will talk about Godzilla vs. Kong, and I'm not gonna lie, don't get us wrong, it's not a terrible movie, but there's some things that we have to unfortunately criticize about this one, and I don't like being harsh on Warner Brothers because I grew up with that company in particular as well as Nick, but sometimes you gotta be harsh, man, to the people, to the companies you love. Even
Though, I mean, yes, me and is by Warner Brothers, but there's a thing though, for my standards with this one. Honestly, just keep in mind, they're all not negative responses.
exactly, there's still some positive stuff that we're gonna be placing about Godzilla vs. Kong. Trust me on that. That is not gonna be all negative. It's gonna be a mixed bag, you could say this time.
Yeah, but not too terrible though.
Exactly. All right. So first things first. In terms of the media maniacs, you probably already noticed this, guys, but obviously we have updated the channel branding, so now it looks a little bit brand new. So even the thumbnail here that I have currently is completely new, just for the channel. Everybody knows that, of course, but yeah. So just so you know, this will be our logo going forward, and yeah. Also, I created 2 new Twitter accounts. The first one is for Blues Clues fans. I found some more news. I will be posting that probably tomorrow morning. That I found after doing some more investigating around, and it's pretty big news too. So yeah. Secondly, I've also made a Media Maniacs Twitter account, so you guys can follow that if you just strictly want news on updates with the channel. We probably won't be as active as when we return to YouTube, but we will be there to give you sneak peeks and behind the scenes on what we are working on behind the scenes for you guys. Which isn't much at the moment, but there's some stuff coming.
Yes.
But yeah. Okay, so now news. Game news reactions. Like I said, unlike February, March was kind of dry on gaming news. Literally dry. So there's not that much to talk about, but I do have 3 events I wanted to go over. The first one was the Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis live stream. There wasn't that much shown, and they talked about the beta results for the closed beta in Japan. But in addition to that, they announced that in the West there will be a closed beta for New Genesis sometime in the near future. I don't know exactly when. But in the near future there will be a closed beta, so look forward to that as well, guys. I'm so excited to check this one out. Also, the Square Enix presents. I will be honest, there was not much in terms of new news. I won't be completely honest. But one big thing that did come out of that one was a brand new Life is Strange game, which I believe is called Life is Strange something colors, if I'm correct. Give me a second. Life is Strange True Colors. There it is. Life is Strange True Colors, which will be coming to all systems, and apparently according to something we heard, maybe even the Switch at one point. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But I do know it's coming to all current gen consoles, and don't worry, it's not in episodes this time. It's gonna be pretty straightforward, basically. It will probably be still split up into episodes inside the game itself, but it won't be split up into separate individual episodes that you have to buy. And good news, the first two games, Life is Strange the original and Before the Storm, are both going to be mastered versions too, so you'll be able to buy them with True Colors, or you'll be able to buy them separately near launch. So look forward to that as well.
Indeed.
Now, one thing that did come out of that presentation that shocked me is Matthew Mercer actually hosted that. That was his voice. Now, for those who don't know who Matthew Mercer is, you may recognize him as the voice of McCree from Overwatch, or probably the most iconic role in his portfolio from the Fire Emblem Awakening game.
And also, there's others like was it Leon Kennedy from the other Resident Evil games?
That too. So yeah, he's had quite the iconic role portfolio. And recently he just got a new role as one of the main characters for the first time. Since they did English stuff for the first time in the whole series. For Yakuza, I don't remember who in particular. I do know he's a spoiler though, so I won't say it either way. But congratulations to him on that too. That's pretty big too. Yakuza's no kid of a series. But either way, it was kind of shocked because, to my and Ethan's knowledge, he hasn't had any past residence with Square Enix.
Nope. Now what I can remember, unless it was a time he did act for the Final Fantasy, but I forget which one.
Yeah, me too.
But I'll pretty sure that I'll just to recheck to be safe.
Me too. At one point, I will recheck just to be safe. If he does have history with Square Enix, then it must have fallen under my Ethan's radar. But either way, yeah, it was pretty cool to see him. The Square Enix present sounds like this is gonna be something that they'll be doing going forward too. So definitely look forward to us live reacting to these in the future. The last thing was the Future Gaming Show. For those who were wondering, no new Sonic game was announced, even though Sega was there. It was just Civilization once more. I'm as impatient as you are, guys, but you know how Sega can be sometimes. Just like Nintendo.
Actually, I got it right here.
Oh. Okay, so he has voice act for Final Fantasy before. No wonder.
Well, the only thing is, it was hard to tell, but let's say he's been voicing kind of underrated characters that people would not recognize, but it makes sense. It's hard to catch his voice around there.
Yeah, most of the roles that Ethan just showed me were alternative voices, which basically means that he was just voicing as random characters in the game. Hard to really catch his voice if you're voicing random characters, honestly. Yeah.
So it just means that he didn't get the biggest role, but I think it's okay.
Totally cool. But that does mean he does definitely have some history with Square Enix. I didn't think he did, but hey, now I know. Well, anyways, getting back on topic here. So the Future Gaming Show showed some pretty amazing games. One of the games I'm looking forward to playing is Crisis Tale, which is coming out the summer, and I'm definitely buying that for sure. It looks like an amazing game. The art style is absolutely amazing. I'll leave a link in the description below to all the trailers they released, and I will leave a link in the description below to both the Square Enix Presents if you want to check it out yourself, and the Fantasy Star Online 2 stream if you want to check it out yourself. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is the Nick Upfront. Now, Nickelodeon announced a whole bunch of stuff on the Nick Upfront. But some of the stuff is not really all that big. The one thing I will mention is that several Nick Jr. series did get their series renewed. And that included Blue's Clues and You, for all those fans, has a 4th season officially. We've been confirmed to have a 3rd season, and so far we are still finishing up 2nd season. So we're almost a 3rd, but for the time being, we have 4 seasons now available in production. I am so excited to see what Blue's Clues and You has in store for me. In case you guys can't tell, I'm a huge Blue's Clues fan. Huge.
And don't you see his logo all the time in the Maniaics?
Yeah, you can't tell. If you can't tell that was obvious, then I wouldn't blame you. Blue's Poppin' isn't all that recognizable, I won't lie. But yeah, basically what Ethan said. If you haven't gotten the hint already, yeah, I'm a huge Blue's Clues fan. But that aside, I will leave a link in the description below to all those who want to check out the big news that dropped during the Nick Upfront. And of course, this March was also very big because Paramount Plus did officially drop rebranding from CBS All Access. So I gotta say, from someone who's used the service for a while, it's actually pretty decent. They still need to add a lot more stuff, but this stuff takes time, man. This stuff takes a lot of time.
Indeed.
But yeah, so there's that. Alright, so now it's time to talk about what we've been up to individually. So how we're gonna go this time is we'll talk about the games that we've both played.
Yes.
Then we'll talk about the shows and anime we've watched.
Yep.
And then we'll talk about the movies.
I'm wrong with Godzilla vs. Kong movie.
Of course. Alright, bud. So, you first. Why don't you tell them what games you've been up to?
Alright.
And we'll save the big 2 for last. Those being Smash and Xenosega Episode 1 and 2.
Yeah, just because those are going to be a little bit longer topics. Alright, so I have here is... I did play Time Splitters 3 through PS2 when one of my friends bought his game with him at my place, and I tried it out. It's pretty good. Pokemon Pearl, as you know, I've been playing at times before MC left to Florida. Those of you who know, I play an emulation through here, as is where we're recording at, not like on the DS, just on what we're recording right now.
Yeah, on my laptop. And Ethan's been making some pretty decent progress, I will say. He's getting through it faster than I am.
And I'll be honest with you guys, I wish I could play that game all like before Heart Gold and all that, but
Hey, better late than never, right?
Yep. So anyway, besides that, another one, actually a couple more, as a fact. Another one I did play was The Warriors. Well, The Warriors. No. We're not talking about Dynasty Warriors. We're not talking about all 10 Warriors. We're talking The Warriors. Like there's a game in the game. It was the game from Rockstar, published by Rockstar, not developed by Rockstar.
Exactly. This is a pretty underrated game. I'll leave a link in the description below to those who want to check out gameplay for it, because obviously I don't want to spend too much time with gameplay cuts this time. But Ethan did say he loves it, and definitely seems to be one I'll be checking out later too.
Yes. And another thing, guys, did you know you actually get it through the PlayStation Store, and it's actually a PlayStation 4 version for digitally.
Yeah, now you tell me. Tell me. Guess I know what I'm adding to my wish list later.
Yeah. So, and the last thing before I discuss the last game, before I get to the biggest topics, um, another thing, it was actually a movie adaptation from it. But other than that, I'll discuss that when we get there. Next one, last one, or two actually, to think about it, Star Wars Battlefront 1. Well, we're not talking EA, we're talking the Lucas Arts.
Now, anybody who knows it or doesn't know, and I wouldn't blame you because if you grew up in the modern day era, you wouldn't even know there was a classic version of Star Wars Battlefront. The franchise is huge, so that's not your fault. There is two versions. The classic version is the one Ethan's referring to. That is the original Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 that released way, 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 way back in the day.
And those were good times.
Now, for those who grew up in the modern day, you know that there's technically two brand new versions of these games. And those are by everybody's favorite microtransaction littered company, EA.
Well, as a fact, if those of you do not know, the classic Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, 1 is actually contained from 6 to, what was it? Okay, how about this? To make it easier for the titles, okay? So it'll be Episode 6, New Hope, contains to Episode, I think it's 8? Yeah, Episode 8 to Return of the Jedi, and also 3 prequels. Other than that, no sequels involved.
I see.
And also same thing with Star Wars Battlefront 2, but a more improvement on the mechanics.
I see. Well, there's your little lore there for those who are wondering. Now, for those who are wondering where the modern day Star Wars takes place, it seems to be a mixture of all of them.
Ooh. And they did add like a sequel type characters. I think they did with the episode. No. They did with Star Wars Battlefront 2. I forget they did with the first one, though.
Indeed. Yeah. In case so obviously when we post gameplay videos, we will have the respective artwork for them. But when we're talking on the channel here, for the most part, unless we specifically say it, or we're discussing about EA in general, you just know that we were referring to the classic Battlefront 1 and 2 that were available on the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox, not EA's.
Correct.
But other than that, speaking of which, one of our friends in real life, I won't say his name, he got a little cocky thinking he could beat Mr. Ethan over here.
Well, let's say we were doing a game we were playing is called Godzilla to Save the Earth, and as it's recording, let's say my good old friend who I actually collab with a couple times, and his name is JArts, and he's got his own channel, and I did collab with him recently while MC was probably either gone or came back from his vacation.
Exactly, and recorded the videos. We'll leave them in the description below so you guys can check them out, but just so you know, if you thought I get cocky against Steven, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh, yeah, I remember just hearing him this when I was playing against him, and let's just say, I was like, where did you get that from? Where was that from? I never expected those things from you, man.
Yeah. Now, obviously, anybody who knows me, you know I get my... Apologies on that. Sheesh, me and my stupid mouth.
Well, as it's a recording, we gotta censor it.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, okay. Anyway, forget what you just hear. Oh, that's censored. I hope so, as it's recording.
Yeah, I will definitely cut that part out. But anyways, I'm not sure where our friend got that from. You got me. But either way.
Alright, so anyway, later on, you guys can go ahead and there's going to be on the description at the bottom, you will see some of those videos recently out, and you go, guys, check it out. And And also, go subscribe our friend JArt when you can.
Indeed, and as well, I'll leave a link to his channel, main page channel as well, so that way you guys can check it out there. But other than that, now it's time to talk about the two big topics that me and Ethan have both played recently, and those two would be, well, the first one will be Ethan explaining, but the second one will be us. So, the first one is Xenosega Episode 1 2, and Ethan will explain in depth what he thinks about the game so far.
Well, I'll explain about the number 3 as well, but not as much, because I'm still playing it.
As of this video's recording, so yeah. But it seems like Ethan will be able to beat it before we return in May. So, good news, you will hear Ethan's full opinion by May. So long as no bosses kick his butt, that is.
No kidding.
But as of this video's recording, Ethan is currently on the third part, so yeah. The second thing we'll talk about is Pyramithra, questions on those two. So, your choice, buddy. Which one do you want to talk about first?
I will say the Super Smash Bros.
Fair enough. Okay, so as you guys know, in our previous update, we talked about Pyramithra and our questions on them so far. I'm gonna tell you this right now. We were more so less right about some things, but not completely. So let's get down on this. So Pyra and Mythra are both characters you can switch from. These are the first time that, outside of Pokemon Trainer, of course it's already in Ultimate, that we can switch between characters. The last time we were able to do that with a human character was back in Brawl, as Samus, Zero Suit Samus, Sheik, and Zelda all became their own characters in Super Smash Bros. 4. So yeah, in this one, well, basically all characters. Basically, this is the first character that could actually switch. We'll say though, they both have their advantages and disadvantages. We'll go over that in a minute. So why don't you talk about Pyra and Mythra, Budgie, since you actually plan to main them a little bit more than me.
Yeah, so anyway, I'll explain about Mythra and Pyra, because for me, I know their play standards. So with Mythra, she has an advantage of the speed. Well, I'm not saying she's the fastest. She's one of the fastest characters, but not the fastest in general. And she does have a faster attacks, as you noticed. And also, we keep this in mind, she's a part of the light element, like a blade character from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Yeah, Mythra is a best for the vintage to use on the damage. Not, well, as you guys decided, just play her the whole time. It's okay either way.
Indeed.
And she has a better recovery, and then I'll explain it right around then.
Yep. So you're probably wondering, could you provide an example? Okay, so for example, you guys know I main Sonic, obviously. I am a longtime Sonic fan, and of course I would main him in all 3 games. But Pyra and Mythra are the first ones to actually offer some kind of, well, at least since Steve, who was another character that actually gives Sonic a struggle, not gonna lie, that actually gives Sonic a bit of money for his money, and I really mean that. Mythra isn't that fast as Sonic, but if done right, she can outspeed him. At least if a CPU or if a human is playing.
We're talking about how the way she can attack fast, not by running speed, just by attacking really fast.
Indeed. However, if you're using an amiibo, that's a whole different barrel of fish. The amiibo's gonna easily clean Pyra and Mythra because amiibos learn as they battle, so the amiibo's eventually gonna learn about this. Just be extra careful.
Yep.
Let me see.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna talk about Pyra. Okay, so Pyra is one of the slowest characters, unfortunately, but she's the best at. You could use her when you have to KO somebody. If the players are actually around 70%, you can actually knock them out just by 1 hit, depending on what you use.
Yeah, just be extra careful there. Yeah, because like I said, for example, with Sonic, you gotta make sure Sonic is standing absolutely still. If he's moving even 1 inch, you're gonna miss.
Yeah, but there's a attack that actually is kind of near the advantage. But use it carefully. Don't even spam. If you choose a spam, you're done for. You're done for.
Yeah, because remember, for example, Sonic has his upswing, so Sonic will be able to easily dodge that if you're not careful. Unless, of course, he's over the edge, then touche, but still.
Well, that's you guys know what you're doing. That's okay. That's okay. Anyway, we'll cut this off. Okay, so as this what I say, let's say as long as you know what you're using with Pyra, with that straight up attack with a blade, then you're good. Unless if you spam, that's a different story. So, with Pyra, you can use her when there's a player who's at 70%. It depends how you use it. You're fine, and you can KO somebody. But if those of you are wondering, hey, can I use it all the time? You can, but you just might have a disadvantage.
Like I was saying earlier, with Sonic, for example, Sonic is literally the fastest character base speed in the game, so I would not use Pyra all the time. I would use a mix of Mythra and Pyra. Mythra to deal the damage on Sonic, because he's literally going to be a hard opponent with Pyra unless you know what you're doing. And then Pyra to finish him off.
Yes, that's why the purpose of those two were together. If you choose just to play one character and then all the way through, that's still fine. It's your play standards. But, and my advice, don't do it all the time.
I would say so too. It really depends on who you're facing, like I said. If you're facing Sonic, then use both of them, really. Otherwise, Sonic's going to easily clean you. Remember, you may have a fast character, but Sonic's still base speed wise, without any powers or anything, the fastest in the game. So I would watch it.
I was just putting recommendations and suggestions. You don't have to take them. It's your choice.
Indeed. Now you're probably wondering, what about recoveries?
Ooh. Well, there's one or two. Let's say one. Pyra's kind of reminds me of Incineroar's recovery or some of the other recoveries, but actually Incineroar will be a better example.
Indeed.
Because others, they do that too, but
not to the extent of Pyra. So what Pyra does is she jumps up and then strikes down.
I'll be honest, it's more of a offense recovery attack than recovery defensively.
Indeed. Because, like I said, it's similar to several other characters, and Incineroar is the best example of that as well. Well, if you end up, you got to be pretty close to the edge really to really recover. If you're at least like halfway across the stage, you might as well forget it.
Yes.
So yeah, use that one wisely. Now I will say that Mythra's is a little bit better, but not by much.
Well, the recovery, all you do is just jump up and you can shoot only multiple or ones, depending on how much button you press, and then she'll just fall down slowly.
Indeed.
Well, not too slowly, but just to the point that it's slowly before she falls.
Indeed. Now I will say that out of the two, Mythra is the better one, but they're both pretty bad still. Because if your opponent gets you far enough, then you're toast basically.
Yep.
So I will say, recovery wise, they're not the best characters. They're not Little Mac bad, thankfully, but they are still pretty bad.
Yes.
So watch your step with those two. Other than that, they are fun characters to play with. Now, if you're wondering outside of Sonic, what characters do they stack up against? Some of the final characters are still better than them. Like Roy, for example, I would say Roy is still better than Pyra in several ways.
Indeed.
Like recovery wise, Roy's still probably a little bit more reliable because he has an up special.
He does, and it's a bit slower.
Indeed. And he has basically more firepower because he's not two people, so he has a lot more oomph, you could say.
Yes.
That being said, they are still better than some of the other final characters like Moth, off Lucina and Crumb.
But those are almost like they almost look like Marv type clones. But
Yeah.
what you gonna do?
Yeah, what you gonna do? Indeed. Now, here's the big question. Are you probably wondering, are they better than Shulk? Coming from someone who means it.
No. Well, I would say it's average.
Yeah, I would even say it's average. They are better, but Shulk still has the better up special, like I said, with that backslash.
I would call it air slash.
Oh, sorry. Wrong.
Well, backslash is actually an advantage if you attack someone behind. That's pretty good attack.
Right, you keep forgetting. Air slash. Let me put it myself. But yeah, other than that, I would say they're about average. So they're awesome characters. I will recommend. Don't face. Be sure to be careful against heavies. They are gonna struggle against heavies, just like Sonic does.
Yes.
So other than that, they are very fun characters, very much worth the money. And who could pass up Xenosaga Chronicles 2 music? I mean, you tell me.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Still, I'm a little bummed there's no X. X for the fans that do want music in the game for that. But oh well. Who am I to push?
Well, you guys just gotta have to wait until there's a port for it. And I guarantee it, there's a possible chances. I can't say 1%, but I'm pretty sure Guts, I have my guts, will have a better chance.
Yeah, and Nintendo's basically running out of ports already, so the Xenosaga Chronicles X has gotta be at least planned.
Yes, that's why I say I have guts.
But yeah, so there's that. But yeah, that's Pyra and Mythra for Smash Brothers. We still got 2 characters left, guys. Wonder who they're gonna be? I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous.
Well, we'll make our predictions another time.
Yeah, another time, not today. Or tonight in this case.
Well, as it's recording.
Yeah, that's for a later video. I'll talk about later on near the end. But either way, so all right, buddy. Now it's your turn to talk about Xenosaga.
Okay, so I'll tell you over that what I started and what I am right now. So anyway, let's start off with episode 1. Okay, I started that game since around February, you can say. And around the time, I do know this. The story was well written, the characters' development were well right, and they're good, they're great. They did a great job of developing these characters. Amazing. And, let's see, the gameplay, I would not lie, it reminds me a bit like it's one of the classic Final Fantasies, but at least it has its own great standards on its own, and I actually enjoyed it so much. And another thing is, there are some pretty interesting parts in the end, and also the boss fights were pretty good and pretty tense. And the final boss, though, how many tries I actually beat them? Up to 6 times.
Yep, 6 times. Hello, that's not a surprise.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Unless if you guys know how to level up your characters, and you're okay. But there is one thing that you guys do not know. Well, MC knows, but you guys don't. So let's say at the end of the game, well, let's say the ending was emotionally, and I can't believe I actually just cried for once.
For those who don't know, me and Ethan almost never cry. Yes, not even during sad moments in anime, even if they crush our soul.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't normally cry. This one touched Ethan so well that it made him cry. And RPGs don't normally do that either. So that just goes to show you how emotionally touched it was.
It was great. Back in the times, it was great.
Indeed. All right, now why one was best.
unfortunately, as you probably are going to predict, the second game didn't do well. It's not terrible compared to others in trilogies like this, but it still needs to be talked about because it still suffered a little bit from what I call the sequel curse.
Yes, yes.
All right, so why don't we talk about the positives first?
Alright, so let's say there's some positives, like the story-wise. Well, I would say it's one of the moments that it started off pretty well from the first game. I would definitely say they did a great job taking the parts where they actually start of the game of the story. I appreciate that part for sure. And also we got introduced to another character that wasn't from the first game, and also the story does make sense in a certain sense right around the time if you guys play it all the way through. Okay, so I'll talk about more of that later because there was like a mix. Let's say it's a mix. How did it do? I can't say for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, now for the cons then.
And it's gonna be more than just I explained for the positives. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, guys. Guys, it's not that much. I always say that it suffers from the sequel curse. And sadly, this one suffers quite a bit from the sequel curse. It's not full on bad sequel, but it just has some criticisms.
Let's just say though that, well, what I understand myself. Let's say the voice actors, I kind of felt like it was slapped in the face. And another one, characters' designs. I've been up to several of them, but still, it was still slapped in the face.
Yeah. Now, the voice actors want one. I'm gonna have to give the developers a little bit of slack because voice actor switching is kind of common in video games and anime, so not their fault. But the character design, I'm gonna give Ethan well, as a Sonic fan, you probably could feel me on how many Sonics not flew.
Yeah, and also the gameplay wise, it's okay. I mean, at least I get the how the game goes, but at the same time, it's probably one of those gameplays I probably enjoy a little bit more or less than the rest.
And that's even being honest.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say the game itself is the most terrible in the world. I'd say the story was kind of not as terrible, not as the best.
Yeah. So basically, this one's a mixed bag. And thankfully, it's not too mixed to negative. So I'll call this one mixed to positive. Thankfully.
But the final to the end when the final boss hits, you what I gotta say to that? Really? You call this a final boss? You really call this a final boss? I can literally just beat Magikarp in a couple hits.
Yeah, it's that easy. That's catching a Magikarp. And that's pretty easy, unfortunately. I could even pull a Pokeball. A standard Pokeball, I'd probably catch it on my first try.
Sorry I had to put a little reference to the Pokemon, but I felt like it. Just because it just reminds me of it.
Unfortunately, it was really that easy. Ethan said the boss before this should have been the final boss.
Yes, and MC's right on this one. I did say it myself.
Unfortunately. But hey. Story says we can't knock them, so that's how it goes.
Hey, stories does make sense. Some of it just doesn't make any sense, but some do. As long you actually understand the concept, you're okay.
Yep. I will say though that from what I put from Ethan, the end he wasn't so hot.
Not as bad as the first one, I'll say that much.
Yeah, this one suffered quite a bit from the sequel because, as I call it, mixed stuff in there. But hey, at least it didn't turn out completely terrible. Unlike certain other sequels, looking at you, Panthers, you 13 too.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Now we get into the third game, which honestly Ethan hasn't played too much of.
Well, I gave him my expressions, and that's it. Let's say, so far what I played, so far, the gameplay was the most improvement from the last two games, and the story, you have no idea. it has a lot of a plot twist. A plot twist that can surprise you right in the start. I
So-
prefer not to say.
Sorry, guys, but yeah, for this one in particular, if we were to say spoilers for the first two, I wouldn't mind, but for this one in particular, I would rather not.
I prefer just giving a little hints, like I just said earlier.
So if you want to check it out yourself, all right, I'll leave a description to a walkthrough that Ethan's been using to get through all three of these games in the description below, so you can check it out for yourself. If you don't want to find these games yourself, which is totally fair, because the third episode in particular cost Ethan a lot of money.
And it was pretty rare enough that I felt like it's well worth it. But there's a warning. Most of them are going to be hard to find in English version. Good luck with that.
The other two are not so hard, that's for sure.
Yep.
But other than that, so far so good. We'll see though, because like I always say a trilogy's ending usually depends on how good it does for the final thing in its trilogy. And in the case of Xenosega Episode 3, I gotta see how that ending stacks up before we can say whether it was a great ending to a great story or whether it deserved better.
Oh, I gotta cross my fingers. It does well. I mean, like I say, so far, I'm in a great spot with this series. I'm in a great spot.
But
And it's to the point I could say it's better than Xenoblade Chronicles series.
for those who are wondering why Ethan said that, now, okay, Ethan loves the original. Don't get him wrong. And he'll still be a Shulk fan no matter what. Shulk is still one of his favorite characters. Cosmos is sadly taking the spot overall, but Shulk is still one of his favorite characters. Ethan had a problem with X, unfortunately. Everything was fine except for
The story.
the story. Other than that, he didn't mind it.
Mm-hmm.
Then with 2, literally everything was perfect. Everything was perfect about the game. I have no complaints on the gameplay, something I can get used to myself. I have no problems with the music, nothing wrong with the story at all. It's one certain mechanic they decided to make this game put me and Ethan into the shake our heads and wonder what they were thinking zone.
Yeah, what they did is something to do with a skill that just makes you advance to another area. You gotta grind that. Not like grinding your own actual characters. You gotta grind your skill level, and just makes no sense.
It makes absolutely no sense. Why would they do that? That's just totally back the game in general.
And it just kills my enjoyment sometimes. Sometimes.
Unfortunately, if it weren't for that, I swear me and Ethan would probably put it in second place.
Well, it is in second place no matter what anyway.
True.
So far, at least.
True. Until the next Xenoblade game, then we'll see how that stacks up. But of course, we don't know when that is, so yeah. But yeah, that's why Ethan says here Saga series is currently better. Currently.
Well, in my own opinion, everybody else's is different.
Exactly. We still have to see how that ending holds up, because like I said, if the ending isn't good, then could we really call the trilogy good? Because 2 bad endings in a row doesn't really make a good trilogy.
Well, I bet you everybody else would say it's better, but again, I gotta see myself. I still have more to see, so
Indeed.
we'll hold that off until the next update.
Yep, indeed, which will probably be the May update, because knowing Ethan, he got through 2 pretty fast. So I'm not sure how long 3 is.
Well, I'm pretty sure when I researched myself, it's supposed to be the second longest out of the 3. First one is actually longer, second one is shorter, and the third one's actually in the average. It's a little bit longer than the second game.
I see. So it's going to be about the average time that you normally be in an RPG.
I've done my research.
See, it is why Ethan's a local strategist. But yeah, so basically expect Ethan to talk about the whole series in general during our return date.
Again, cross our fingers. Just remember, cross our fingers.
And hope that Ethan doesn't get stuck behind a boss again.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that's it for Xenosega and Pilot Mithra. So we were talking all things Xeno today.
Anyway, I could talk more of that maybe in the next update if we wanted to.
Indeed. Alright, so for games I've been playing, recently I did play a little bit of Monster Hunter Rise, and I gotta say, I love it.
Interesting.
It's definitely worth playing, and we can play together. So when Ethan eventually gets his copy, because he is interested in this one, surprisingly, when Ethan said he looked good, I kind of dropped my mouth.
Yeah, it does look pretty good.
See? Yeah, from what I've played so far, it's pretty good. Also, in addition to that, I've been playing some Forza Horizon, which may or may not have a day one upload on the channel, maybe when we come back. And then also in addition to that, I've also been playing Smash, like always, Pokemon Sword, and of course Pokemon Diamond, in addition to even playing Pokemon Pearl. I mean, how can't I? Can't I? It's Diamond without Pearl.
Yes, and we're just doing it just to get our hypes up for the remake.
Yeah. By the way, don't care what anybody says. Remake hype. Let us know if you're hyped for the remake as well, or let us know in the comments below nicely what you guys think should have been better about the remakes. And I mean nicely, in good terms. I really don't want to block anybody because of not being happy about the remakes. I mean, if you're unsatisfied with remakes, that's totally fair. But I don't want to, you guys get what I'm coming from, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So please, just be respectful. Is all I ask. But yeah. Okay, so for TV shows and anime now, you're not gonna believe this, but because of Xenosega, Ethan actually hasn't watched the first season of My Hero Academia, which is kind of ironic.
Well, then again, something that interests me or interests anybody could get busy, and if the story actually can hook you up, that's what happens.
Sure. We'll probably hear what his opinion is by the next update. I promise, guys. Hopefully Xenosega doesn't take him on mom.
Oh, I hope not either, but we'll see.
Indeed. But either way, he has watched a couple other animes, so why don't you go first, buddy?
I watched Dragon Quest Adventures of Theory, the first episodes, just few episodes. So far what I watched, it's pretty interesting, and it's pretty good so far.
I see. And Ethan also watched the Xenosega Saga one.
Well, animation, yes.
And
let's say, well, after I played the game, the first episode, I noticed the plot. It's been rushed.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's been rushed. I mean, I get it. They're trying to jump it to the points, but there's one little problem. You got to explain the best parts, what was in the game, instead of just jump so quick. For those of you who didn't play the game, then you won't know what I'm talking about.
Now, if you want a personal opinion, you're better off either watching a walkthrough or getting the games yourself, in my opinion. But yeah, we also watched one more anime together. So for those who know Fan Maya, who is the voice of Petra from Movie Houses, she's actually in an anime as one of the main characters called volunteering character Tokuzuma, which is basically Super Smash Bros. Anime style.
Yes.
And I will say it's a very interesting anime, very cool. Of course, I'm not gonna spoil anything. We'll say the ending though for the first episode did make me go like, huh? Enough to make me even want to watch the rest later, of course, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna end up liking or hating this one. It's interesting to say the least, but
well, I gotta be honest with you. To shout out to the voice actor that MC knows, I give it a shout out to this voice actor for showing us the anime, and also I am gratefully to meet you as well.
Yep. Yep. For those who don't know, I actually faced May a while back when she first started streaming Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. In case you didn't know, I lost. Embarrassingly, I've gotten better though. If I she ever plays again, I'm definitely gonna go for a rematch, and I'm not gonna lose this time.
Right.
But regardless, so that's the anime we watched. Now, show-wise, I've been watching, of course, Bleach Exclusive You, but the one other show I want to shout out real quickly was Starbeam. It reminds me a lot of anime in a way. It's about this superhero girl who lives in this town, and she flies around to help save the day from evil villains. That sounds like a generic plot, but it's actually pretty intriguing.
Right.
I recommend watching it. I'll leave a link in the description below. It's on Netflix only. It's a Netflix original, so you can only watch it there. But it's still worth watching, in my opinion.
Yes, indeed.
Now let's get to the third biggest topic of this video. The Godzilla vs. Kong movie.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest thing that me and MC were gonna talk about. But I prefer just tell you the one movie that I have watched recently before that. It's called The Warriors. I explained myself earlier through the games. Now, the movie, wow, it's so good. It's awesome. I loved it. And now it makes me want to play the actual game.
That can't be said about a lot of video game movies. And I do mean a lot. Even
well,
sorry, you first.
It was an adaptation from a book to a movie and then a game. That's telling you something.
That definitely tells you something. Of course, that's probably haters, but I'm not surprised by that. Either way, though, in my personal opinion, that's pretty impressive to say the least. Not many video game movies can live up to the hype.
Well, this one is actually so easy. You can actually make it so good in both. Surprisingly. Well, for me, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm pretty sure in general, surprisingly, it's actually not a video game type game, kind of like Mortal Kombat or Sonic or all these types of games. What we're talking about. We're talking about it was adaptation from a book to a movie and then to a video game. That's different.
Indeed, that's not easy to do and nail on.
And it's easy to actually adapt to that than from the video game adaptation. No offense.
Yeah, that's why me and Ethan are still kind of worried about the upcoming Mortal Kombat movie, which has got me and Ethan on edge, but we'll save that for a discussion for another time.
Yep.
But yeah. So definitely check out The Warriors. Where can we watch this movie, bud?
The Warriors. I was able to track down through I think it was through Amazon Prime. I tracked it down.
All right. In that case, I will leave a link in the description below to Amazon Prime, and if I find it anyplace else, I'll link that as well, so you guys can check out The Warriors.
Recommendation: go for rent. Don't buy it
unless you really want it.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Now for Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, for those who don't know, Godzilla vs. Kong is one of 3 HBO Max movies that are coming out in the last few months. First month, we had Tom and Jerry, which I personally think was pretty good, but the rest of the fan base didn't think so, so I'm going to respect that opinion.
Well, of course, I'll have to check it out myself later.
Then the second movie, which is Godzilla vs. Kong, which we both just watched.
I'm so hyped from the beginning, and then let's just talk about it and get it over with.
And then finally, next month, although it was delayed a week, the Mortal Kombat movie, which is coming now out on April 23rd.
And another one after that, surprisingly, Space Jam.
But I'm not too worried about that because Warner Brothers knows what they're doing usually, and I say usually, with the own IPs, so I'm not too worried about that one. But Mortal Kombat, I'm also worried because video game movie curse.
Yep, and I did recently watch the Space Jam trailer as it's recording. Just keep that in mind. pretty good.
I'm
And
not,
made me hype.
see, told you, I'm not all that worried. Unless, of course, they somehow spectacularly fail, but I'll be the judge of that when I watch it. Either way, though, the next big movie worry is Mortal Kombat, and more so than Space Jam because this one's actually based off a video game movie, and it's a reboot on top of that.
Ooh, reboot probably from the 90s.
And you know how that usually goes. Reboots don't normally go well, so video game movie plus reboot equals.
Well, unless you know what you're doing for the story. Don't go too faithful to the story.
But we'll see how that goes. Anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about Godzilla vs. Kong.
Mm-hmm.
So, for those who don't know, Godzilla vs. Kong is a movie in the new rebooted Godzilla universe, which started way back in 2014 with Godzilla 2014.
Ooh, I remember watching it for the first time with my other friends. I was just like, no. I mean, I like that new Godzilla's look, but no, for the whole movie.
Yeah. And then we have Godzilla King of the Monsters,
Which
which was better.
yes, finally, better. I know the other fans disagree with me, but it's better.
In his opinion. And then in the Kong universe, we also have Kong Skull Island.
I did watch that one myself. It's not bad. It's not too bad. But I did watch the other Kong movies while I was younger, by the way. It was before this one we're talking about. King Kong from 2005, I believe. That's by Peter King or whatever, right? Am I right? Yeah. So I watched that one before this one, so yeah.
Yeah. So Ethan has a bit of history with both Godzilla and Kong. More so Godzilla, but yeah, he has a bit of history with Kong too. And then finally we get to this modern day Godzilla vs. Kong film. And I'm gonna be honest, was it worth the hype?
Well, at the same time, if you're talking the fights, thank the Lord it was worth it.
Totally worth it. If you mean the whole movie?
Whoa, I'm only there for the fights, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of here for the whole movie sometimes, but yeah, in the case of this one, I will say, okay, so let's break it down first. First of all, the movie plot itself.
Let's just say adaptation from the last couple of movies like Kong Skull Island and Godzilla King of Monsters makes no sense. Just there's some plots. I mean, yes, there are some senses. I get the senses from the no spoilers. I keep forgetting. Let's say something to do with the ending of the last movie, not Kong, Godzilla. Okay, I get the senses. What is taken from? Other than that, it's pretty hard for the newbies. Pretty hard. Well, I'm not a newbie. Not technically a newbie to the Godzilla series. Movies, yes. Video games, no.
Pretty much that. But yeah, plot wise, if you're watching it for the plot, then you're gonna be disappointed.
Just a Mormon bit.
Yeah. Now, if you're watching it for the fights, oh, so worth it.
Oh, I enjoyed it so much.
Indeed, it was probably some of the best fighting I've seen in my whole life.
There's gonna be more, but previous ones.
Indeed. Now, if you're talking about music actually wasn't bad this time.
I don't think it was. It was good.
Indeed. So overall, what would we rate this one?
Well, we both rated ourselves previously.
8.5.
Yeah, if it weren't for those best fights or enough fights, it would have been lower than that. Like around maybe 6 or 7 score. Or actually, no, 5 or 6.
Yeah, Yeah, it probably would have been a little lower than that, and if there was like little to like it was only one fight for the whole movie, I would have put that one at 3.
That's way worse, guys.
I'm sorry, guys. I gotta be boot on one of them sometimes. So, while I say it's the best Godzilla movie that we've gotten,
I would definitely say it's one of the best.
one of the best. Is it the best overall?
Well, I can't say for sure for myself yet, for movies wise, but so far, I guess it is one of the best.
I will say it is one of the best, but if you're talking classic versus modern, classic's still better.
Oh, maybe the fan base will actually say yes on this one. Who knows? Who knows?
Now, if you want a better people plot than what you saw in this one,
well, for my standards, I have something in here. I'll show it to you right now. And there it is. There it is. The good old movie that I remember watching with one of my friends, my other friends, who are actually a big fan of Godzilla. This one.
yes, Godzilla against Mega Godzilla.
Well, to put a preference, reason why I like this one, there's another one that is a sequel to this one, but I prefer say I'm not sure because it was confusing with the plots. I enjoy both either way. So I watched that one, and I started to think it was actually my favorite food classics, one of the classics, to the fact because, well, I remember from the Godzilla games like Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, Godzilla Save the Earth, or Godzilla Unleashed, Kiryu, the third design of Mega Godzilla. There was other designs of Mega Godzillas. So I started to think Kiryu is actually like my favorite of the bunch.
Oh boy. Anyways, it's so yeah, there are some better Godzilla movies, unfortunately. I will say Wonder Woman has come a long way, but they got a lot more work to do.
Or even people on recently for trending for Twitter are actually putting up they want to say continue the monsterverse. Every last one of them on Twitter was trending recently. Every last one of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't vote them on that. I will love the Monsterverse to continue to see how this goes. It's doing better than DC, that's for sure. No offense, DC fans. I mean, nothing against them, but I'll be honest. Honest, from what I've been seeing from an outsider's point of view, it's not looking so hot.
Yes, and I'll be honest. Well, those of you who follow me on Twitter and all that, I actually decided to join up with that trending, so I trend myself.
Hey, that's not Ethan's fault, but he is a big Monsterverse fan. I mean, look at him. He loves Godzilla games and the movies, some of the movies, so of course he would join. I personally joined too, but I'm not a Monster fan. Man, I guess you guys didn't know, so.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, not yet at least. But I will say maybe. So how is it so far between all 3 HBO Max movies? The first one's, at least in terms of what I've watched, it's pretty decent. Yeah, Tom and Jerry's pretty decent, so I say 1 for 1 win. Although the fan base thought otherwise, so 1 strike. Now for Godzilla vs. Kong.
I think the fan base were kind of mixed on the plots. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. That's what I read.
Okay, well, for me, I'm mixed on the plot too, but I mostly enjoy the fights, and the fights kind of saved me.
Indeed. So the fights saved the movie for both of us. So they got a win with us, but unfortunately, I'll have to give them a half strike for the fan base, since I'm not really sure which way this is going, considering the movie just came out literally a week ago.
Well, I already know what I went.
Of course. Now for the next one. Okay, so from what we've seen so far, for Mortal Kombat, The designs look good. Good.
Scorpion was kind of a mix from the beginning, and then Scorpion just turns out to be good. We don't know if he's gonna be like that for the whole movie, but I can't say.
Yeah, me neither. Now, story-wise, I'm not all that worried, really. Mortal Kombat doesn't really have that big of a story, so unless they're specifically basing this off of one Mortal Kombat in particular, then I'm not too worried.
They gotta be careful, though. They gotta not do it from, 11 or 10. Do it, just like what Sonic the Hedgehog movie was at.
Yeah, a totally original movie.
Then they're gonna be okay.
Indeed. Other than that, though, yeah, I'm a bit worried.
Wonder Brothers, yeah.
Now, not that I don't think Warner Bros. Can do a bad job, but they barely got the pass on me with Detective Pikachu. And I mean barely.
Oof. And a lot of people actually liked it. What the heck? A lot of people liked it.
Personal opinion. I prefer Sonic movie over Detective Pikachu personally.
Fair enough.
But I do think both are great.
Mm-hmm.
Probably some of the best movies we've had in a long time. Warner Brothers.
Yep.
Now, in terms of upcoming in terms of whether we have confidence in Warner Brothers to do better, I'm going to be straight up honest, given the fact that DC's censor cut is better than the actual theatrical cut of Warner Brothers of Justice League. I can't say I'm confident. By the way, fun fact. Apparently, speaking of which, they wanted to cut up the time for Justice League because they wanted more theater time. Greedy.
Bad move.
Greedy. Guys, I get it. Get it. More theater time is fine, and I understand it completely. But you really think at this point the fan base cares?
Nope. And I can tell you this, guys. One of my friends, JArts already showed one of my other friends that Godzilla vs. Kong, and he actually thinks the plot was kind of hard to understand. Even if you watch, the previous movies, well, maybe the King of Monsters might be the best, helpful to get you an idea to the other movie. But this is a bad start for plot-wise. That's a bad start.
Indeed. I would probably recommend you to go back to the way beginning with the classics, so you start with Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Or, for 2014 too, but not for me.
Yeah, Ethan's already sat through that one once. I don't think he could have the balls to sit through it twice.
So, King of Monsters will be fine.
Indeed. Now, personally, like I said, going forward, we still got one movie left this month, and that's Mortal Kombat. Will it do good? Or will it do a fatality at the office? Or will it be a 1-2 KO punch for Warner Brothers once again?
I have gotten into Mortal Kombat series, and I hope it doesn't fail me. Please don't.
Yeah, for Ethan's and my sake, let's cross our fingers it doesn't, because if it doesn't, oh dear, this is going to be so embarrassing. Mortal Kombat was just on such a good roll too.
It was on a good roll from 11, though. The story was just so good. All of it way through.
Well, in Ethan's opinion, that is. I'm not sure what everybody else thinks.
I'm pretty sure there's some people who would agree with me.
True. But yeah. That's all for Godzilla vs. Kong, and a little bit about what we think is going to happen with Mortal Kombat, which is coming out this month.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I wanted to talk about before we completely sign off is the games that I got. So you probably already saw this earlier, guys, but we had a mid-April update giving you an update on what me and Ethan were currently doing while I was down in Florida over Zoom. So I'm pleased to announce that I actually have 15 games that I brought back with me. 5 of those are going to be staying here with me. Well, actually, scratch that. 6 of those are staying here with me. Why, quite a handful of... Where did he think it is?
Right down there. For the time being, I gotta show you one of these. just one of these real quick. Oh, no. Oh, way out there to that outside the door. You'll see him. I'll show one of those games real quick. Alright, so MC has here, for the time being, he has this one, which is Tales of Cynthia right here. And he will tell you why he got this one.
Okay, and then Ethan has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these that are gonna be coming home. Except for the 8th title, and this one is actually for a friend. So,
but make sure he doesn't get involved in this video.
and if you're watching this video, good thing I didn't mention the other part of his present. All right, so rock paper scissors, who gets to show the games off first?
Obviously, you already know that's a game. I already know that's a game. Beat you twice.
All right, you first.
Alright, so switching over. Alright, so obviously these games, those you saw, these ATV sequels.
Yes, Ethan has yet to play all of these, but he's excited to.
Yes, about 2 later, but number 2 would be my first stop. But the others will have to wait.
Second set.
That will be my own collection. I really want them for a long time, and I'll wait for the other. These Gears games.
Gears 2 and Gears 3.
I know I already played them, but they were digitally in a Game Pass. But I figured, since I'm a big fan of those series, why not get the collection of the originals?
Indeed.
And also along with the latest installments.
Indeed. So Ethan will be picking up Gears Tactics, Gears 4 and 5, which should be easy to find, and Gears 1 eventually.
And another one for the others. Well, I've been dying to try it out, and I had a friend of mine say it's the best, and I got more curious, even though we both are not a fan of this series. I decided I'll definitely give this story and the general a try.
Yep.
Myself.
Call of Duty, Mall Combat.
Mall Warfare.
Modern Warfare 2. One of the fan favorites here.
That's why I'm giving it a chance.
And then finally, Ethan's first, possibly only, PlayStation 3 game.
It'll be Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots.
Ethan's played every single installment except I think the first and the fourth one.
I did play the first one, but not the story-wise.
Oh, gotcha.
But this, I haven't played it yet. I already know how this is like a final conclusion of all the series, so I'm looking forward to that later. And of course, I guess I could show you guys, but alright, let's say this first. If I were you, if you're watching, not you, one of my other friends, but just one of my friends, if I were you, click off of the video, okay?
I'll give you 5 seconds. Oh, he's probably gone by now.
Okay. Anyway, we got Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Well, I already know I had already played this before in the past, but for me, I'm gonna be back at home after this recording and test this, see if it works. And then after that, he gets the most great game ever in his life. One of the games.
Indeed. All right.
So anyway, there you go.
Alright, so that's all for the games that Ethan's going to take. So the 7 games that outside Prince of Persia are all Ethan. So those are all his to take home. So on top of the PlayStation games he has those are all of his choices now. So if you ever want Ethan to record any of these for the channel, since we have our HDMI splitter, you let us know in the comments below.
Mm-hmm.
Now for me, now 3 of these we cannot play until until 2 things happen. 1, we get backwards compatibility for these titles, or two, we find an original Xbox.
Yep.
Which is gonna be hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I got and managed to finally get
Dead or Alive series.
Yep, Dead or Alive Ultimate Edition for 1 and 2, and then also Dead or Alive 3. So, basically, these Ultimate versions were made with these engines, so the best versions to play. So, I'll technically have 1 and 2 in my collection now, which means, along with 3 and the copy I have for 4 over there, I have all of the Dead or Alive series, physical-wise, officially now.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is I cannot play them officially until I have all 3 boxes. As you guys know, Ethan has hit my old Xbox One, so I can't play physical for the time being until I get my X eventually, or something else happens. But I also need to track down the physical version, an Xbox original, hopefully in the future, so that way I can play these games and see how they are, because these are the 3 installments that me and Ethan haven't played yet. Now, Tales of Cynthia. Now, for those who don't know, Brandon and Echo just revealed the Tales of series,
Arise, right?
Tales of series, sales for all the regions in which games have sold the best, and Tales of Cynthia was on the top. Now, I couldn't find the original game, but I did find Tales of Cynthia Dawn of the New World for the Wii, which is definitely a game I've been wanting to try out anyway, so this is the perfect time to pick it up. And now I picked up 3 PlayStation games, all individual titles, of course. No series here, but they're all titles that me and Ethan have been wanting to play for a while.
Well, yeah. Except for I wanted to play like only a couple of these, except for the one. But the one, I'll be curious to check it out later, like just to look into.
Indeed. So the first 2 that Ethan's wanted to play, Virtua Fighter 4. We still have yet to play the other games, such as 3, but that's on the Dreamcast, so we'll worry about that later.
I already played it, number 2 and 5.
And 1. 1, as well as the OE installment we haven't played, but again, we'll worry about that later. But either way, Virtua Fighter 4, definitely one of the installments we haven't played, so it's going to be interesting to see how this one is different from the sequel, 5. Interestingly enough, I'm definitely curious to see what this game is like, but yeah, I'm excited either way. Alright, now this is a game that me and Ethan have been dying to play for the longest time. It's the only game in a series that we have yet to play outside of its predecessor before it was renamed.
And not like that, it doesn't have guest characters, unfortunately. But, hold that thought. But, there's a customization guest, is Cosmos, for character customization. Not an actual character, unfortunately.
Yep. But either way, Ethan is referring to this game, Soul Calibur 3. It's the only installment in the series that me and Ethan have not played. We have played, real quick, the first one, which we both think is pretty good.
Yup.
The second one, Ethan prefers the GameCube version, but I don't mind any of them.
I mean, I've seen all 3 of them myself. I played the GameCube, but I didn't play the others. But I would say the best. You guys already know why.
3, which we have yet to play, but we'll play eventually, probably next time me and Ethan hang out.
Mm-hmm.
4, which we consider one of the best in the series.
It is one of the best.
Although, warning, if you're going to play it, watch out for Star Killing. Well, let's just say, if you're not careful, he's going to kick your butt.
He's one of the guest characters, came from a game called Star Wars Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, and that's the reason why we probably haven't seen backwards compatibility. Disney be Then Soul Calibur 5, which we don't talk about.
Garbage. It's garbage.
Hot garbage, man. Hot garbage, I'm sorry. And then Soul Calibur 6, which is definitely one of the better installments, and probably the best today in my opinion.
And it was a reboot to the series too, so congratulations to make it a better reboot for anybody who's new to the series. Thank you very much.
Indeed, so definitely. Apparently this one has the most content too, according to my files in Discord. So I'll be the judge of that, but we'll see. I mean, Soul Calibur 6 is pretty beefy, but I'll definitely look forward to seeing what this one brings.
Sure.
And last but not least, now you guys know I'm a big Sega fan on the channel, of course, in addition to obviously Sonic. And one of the games I've been wanting to try ever since trying the sequel on the Xbox, Space Channel 5.
And I do know one of the characters like her from the Project X Zone series.
Indeed. So I have been wanting to try the original for the longest time, but I've never been able to because, well, one is our first game is still stuck on the Dreamcast, unfortunately.
And not only that, it has 2 discs inside, kind of like I have for Xenosagas. Well, not the first game, but just the 2 sequels.
Indeed. So this will be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to seeing what this game is like compared to Space Channel 5 Part 2. But yeah, this game definitely great. So these games are going to be staying with me, of course, so they'll be part of my retro collection. But total, I got 15 games that me and Ethan will both use for our collections going forward. And if you want us to walk through any of them, except for Bits of Pleasure, unfortunately.
I mean, I'll test it out later, and maybe I could play it a bit. I had a chance later. Well, when I get the chance.
Yeah, but if you ever want us to walk through any of these games, let us know. Personally, I think the first game out of all these titles that me and Ethan will probably record gameplay of is Soul Calibur 3, because it's the only installment, like I said, that me and Ethan have not played.
Nope.
And of course, sadly, we probably won't be able to record these until we get an original Xbox, or pray to Microsoft that they get backwards compatibility for these titles. But knowing Kumi or Tecmo, I highly doubt it.
Well, I get into the Xbox version of Xbox game myself later, but I have a bad feeling we'll never get backwards ability on that game, except for maybe for these 3, but we'll see. I'd say these will have a better chance.
Unfortunately, yeah, if Kumi or Tecmo decides to get off a high horse for once.
Yup.
Yeah, other than that, though, the rest of the titles can definitely be played recording-wise, so if you have any other ideas of what you want to see on the channel, definitely let me and Ethan know, because we're always open. If you have any other titles that me and Ethan should definitely track down for later, let us know in the comments below. And leave a gameplay link for us as well, because that would definitely help us.
Yes.
But that's all for now. I think so. Oh, wait, I nearly forgot one more thing.
Maybe just the last 3, yep. Obviously the you-know-what.
Yep. So you guys already saw these, and I already posted videos, but just in case you missed all that somehow, I can offer you these amiibos. Terry, Banjo-Kazooie, and Bloodline.
I already have one, both of them, except for the other 2.
All 3 of these are now mine, which means I have a full set of Season 1 amiibos.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm very happy. Other than that, though, I think that's it, guys.
Yep.
So, yeah, look forward to my and Ethan's return on May 1st. First, of course, we'll let you know if that changes, because things can happen. Trust me, it's happened before on the channel.
Yes.
So, yeah, we might not come back on May 1st. We'll let you guys know, and I'll update the banner, of course, to reflect that, but yeah, for the time being, expect me and Ethan to return on May 1st, and we will have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about when we return, including Ethan's full opinion on the Xenosega series. I look forward to hearing his full thoughts.
Oh, I cannot wait. I'll keep myself dedicated to that series. I might keep it going, like, beat the game.
Oh, never mind. Anyways, but yeah, and of course, you can expect hopefully that April will be full of more gaming news. I highly doubt it, guys. But yeah, that's all for now. This is yours truly. Hold on a second. Sorry.
Alright, this is yours truly, Music Clues,
Ethan and signing out.
and y'all have a nice
Gaming night. This is recording.
see ya.